Hello, this is Edith Newmeyer, and I'm the author of the book, The Mystery of Adam. I'm going to talk about Daniel 11:22. I have heard the biggest nonsense ever. I don't understand why people come to these weird conclusions. I've seen it now 2 times. This Daniel 11:22, and they babble something about a flood and destruction, and it's like unbelievable. And I wonder if anybody has read that scripture really in the Bible and read the whole chapter it is in Daniel 11. Has anybody ever read this, or what is up? Where do they get these false interpretations? It's like, my goodness, what's going on? So here's the verse. And with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken, ye also, yea, also the prince of the covenant. And with the arms of a flood. Okay, with the arms of a flood. Now, I'm reading from the King James Version. So let's see if I go to a different translation. I'm going, I don't want to, the angelized. I'm going to go to the American Standard Version and see what the American Standard Version, how they translate it. Okay, because you have to do that, and it's very easy because we have things now on the computer, and you can just change it to as many versions as you want. 22. Where is it? And the overwhelming forces shall be overwhelmed from before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people. In time of security shall become even upon the fattest places of the province. Okay, so that's what it's saying. You can interpret this any way you want. Okay, if you don't understand history, you might as well just hang it up. Okay, might as well hang it up. Now, this is about Daniel 11 is about history from the time of Darius the Mede. Okay, and it starts out in chapter 11. And as for me, in the first year of Darius the Mede, I stood up to confirm and strengthen him. And now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia. Okay, so Darius was one of the kings of Persia. There will be 3 more kings of Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. Okay, and then after that, we're going into the Persian Empire. Okay, we see that clearly. I have done a video about that, but I'm going to talk about it again, just simply because people are still confused about it. Okay, and maybe I will just write Daniel 11, the lie about Daniel 11:22. Maybe that's what I'm going to call it. But right here we see that this historical account starts with Darius the Mede, which was, I believe, the first empire of the Persians. Before we had the Babylonians. Okay, so they're already gone. Remember the beasts, the 4 beasts. The first beast are the Babylonians. The second beast are the Persians. Then the third beast is Greece. Okay, look it up again in chapter 7. And so then we see very clearly that Greece starts out, of course, with Alexander the Great. His kingdom was divided into 4 pieces. You're going to have to understand history. Now, I don't know too much detail about history in like the Greek history. I know about Alexander the Great. Of course, then you're going to go, into the whole Greek history, which doesn't, I don't think, last that long. Then you have, of course, the Roman Empire coming, which lasted quite a long time. And what happened, now I don't know in details, but one thing I know during the Roman Empire, and that is 22. 22 still fits within that Roman Empire. Why am I saying that? Because if you continue to go, eventually we get to the part where the temple and the sanctuary is destroyed. Okay? And that does not happen until until 31. That's pretty far away from 11, wouldn't you say? Okay, so it is before the destruction of the temple. Now, why do I know that that's the destruction of the temple? I listen to this. And forces shall stand on his part, and they shall profane the sanctuary, even the fortress, and shall take away the continual burnt offering, and they shall set up the abomination that maketh desolation. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he pervert by flattery, but the people that know their Lord shall be strong. Okay? So, this right there, he is talking about what? The abomination of desolation. That is not what some people think it will happen in the future. That is something that happened in the past with the temple, when the temple was destroyed. There ain't going to be another temple, people. Okay? That was the temple that was destroyed. And 31 gives you an account of that destruction. The abomination of desolation. If you look at Matthew 24, Jesus talked about the abomination of desolation according to Daniel. And just before he talked about that, he talked about the temple being destroyed. He said, look, and it could be still in 23. He said, look at the temple, everything will be destroyed. Okay? So he makes a connection between the destruction of the temple and the abomination of desolation. It is not something, people, that will come in the future. And it's not something that the supposedly Antichrist did. And I'm going to make another video again about the Antichrist, because I kind of have learned a little bit about this Antichrist figure. Okay? But today I'm going to continue to talk about Daniel 11. So if Daniel 11:31 is about the destruction of the temple, and shall take away the continual burnt offering, which happened during the destruction of the temple, or before, and they shall set up the abomination that maketh desolate. Okay? Please read what's there. That maketh desolate. The abomination that maketh desolate. Nothing else. Okay? Desolate means destruction. Okay? The abomination that causes destruction. That's what he's setting up. That's what Jesus talked about. This is what Daniel is talking about right here. Okay? That was happening 70 AD. The temple, the city was destroyed and was made desolate. And Jesus himself said that it's going to be trampled underfoot by the Gentiles until the time the Gentile is fulfilled. That's the end of the church age. Okay? So when we know this is 31 Okay, verse 31. Then people 11 is a lot earlier. Okay, because then if we read on, it says even in 35, and some of them that are wise shall fall, to refine them and to purify and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for the time appointed. Okay, then in 36, we're going into the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god. Okay, that is now talking about the man of lawlessness that Paul mentioned. Okay, the man of lawlessness. And Daniel is mentioning him again, I believe, or previously. Yeah, I think he was mentioned previously. Okay, but this man of lawlessness and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and he shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that which is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the gods of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor, see here it is, neither shall he regard the gods of his fathers, nor the desire of women. Okay? Nor regard any god, for he shall magnify himself above all. Okay? And you can continue to read. Now, this specifically talks about this man of lawlessness. Okay? That's how he's described. Daniel is described right here, is described by Paul. This is also the same person that Daniel described as the little horn. Okay? In Daniel 9, I believe. Okay? Look up little horn. I've talked about the little horn as well. But as you can see, this is not the end, because many believe this Antichrist or this man of lawlessness comes at the end. No. Okay, it continues. And at the time of the end shall the king of the south contend with him. So him, that is the king. Okay, so there will be somebody from the south that will go against him. Okay, this man of lawlessness. And then the king of the north will come against him as well. And it will continue. Okay, if you continue to read, Egypt and Libyans and the Ethiopians shall not escape. Okay, you can continue to read all the way to 45, the end of the chapter. It's not over. Okay, you go into verse 45. Then you go into Daniel 12, and in the beginning, it still continues. Okay, if you read Daniel 12, it still continues. And I'm not going to much in detail right now. But at that time, it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, who standeth for the children of thy people. Okay? But he also stands for us, for the saints. Okay? Daniel did not know about the saints, but I think he does, actually. But he didn't know about the Gentiles, the Gentiles becoming part of the people. And they shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Okay? So only people that are written in the book. So how are you going to be written in the book? Let's talk about that. Okay? How can you be written in the book? Daniel was here talking about his people, right? So let's say he was talking about the Jews. So what Jews will be saved? What will be delivered? The ones that only believe in Messiah. Nobody else. Okay? And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Okay? So he is now talking here at the end. Okay? This is now the end. And so we are having right now well, anyways, so if you continue to read, so you know there is the end. So everything before that is still historical. Okay? So even when we read about this king, or is he called king? Yeah, king in verse 36, who does according to his will, that is not the end. It continues. Okay? It continues. And continues and continues and continues. Okay? All the way to 45, verse 45. Now what we have is a wrap up of a long period of history. And verse 11 has absolutely nothing to do with the end. Nothing. Okay? It is most likely, it is most likely in the time before Jesus, between the Babylonian, after the Babylonian captivity, and maybe between the time Jesus appeared in, on the earth. So, and then of course, you know what I think, who this lawless one is, this ruler, this king. Again, this king is not an individual person. This king is the beast, is part of the beast. Okay? He is the man of lawlessness. The man of lawlessness is not one person. Okay? It is part of a system, of the beast system. Okay? So when you have listened to my videos, you know who that person is. That is papacy. Okay? It's papacy with in connection with the beast that did not totally end with the Roman Empire. Out of the Roman Empire came horns. Okay? Those were the different kingdoms that came out of the Roman Empire in Europe. And then, of course, the little horn, which was papacy. And papacy ruled them all. Okay? So this whole thing about this Daniel 11:22 is absolutely leading people astray. Why in the world? I mean, they are just blabbering about things that are not even true and biblical. I mean, I can pick anything, in the Bible and just interpret it the way I want. People, you cannot just pull out a verse and then just say what you want about it. You have to see it in context. You have to relate to things. I don't know full history, Roman history, full Greek history. I know some, but I know enough to see that that's not true. Okay? It's not true. Again, Daniel 11:22 is way before Jesus came on the scene. Because shortly after Jesus, the sanctuary was destroyed and the sacrifice was stopped. Okay? So that's it. Okay? That is it. And it's over. And then this king came not a lot later, but he came actually the verse later, or the section kind of later, really. So then we're hearing about this king in 36. And that ends, well, it's still 40, it's still talking about this this ruler, okay, this ruler. And I'm not going to go into detail who this king from the south is, but I'm suspecting this king out of the south was the Ottoman Empire or the Muslims that actually invaded Europe. Because if this is the king in 36, which is papacy, in combination, of course, with the European rulers, then, of course, this king that came out of the south is the Ottoman Empire that almost took over. Ottoman Empire almost, okay, the Muslims almost took over Vienna, okay, almost Vienna. They almost came to Vienna, and for some reason they made a deal. And I don't know the full history of that either, but I know that the Muslims, which is again the king from the south, the Ottoman Empire. Again, it's not one king, it's the empire, okay? So the Ottoman Empire almost took over Europe, okay, at that time. And I know that very well because I come from a town in Germany called Baden, or that's the section, that's the county. And the Duke there, his name is Louis, Turkey Louis. That's what they call him, Turkey Louis, because he was very instrumental in that battle, in defeating the Ottoman Empire. So I know a little bit, don't know it in full detail, but I know it happened, okay? So, and then who went against him? Then the king of the north comes against him. Who is that? Well, I believe it was Napoleon that came against the Pope and almost had him thrown out. But later, again, the Vatican was given back to the papacy. Okay? So, yeah, if you know history, maybe you can understand Daniel 11 better. But don't just pull out one verse and put your own spin on it or put something on it that people make up. Okay? You know, I don't know what this whole thing is about, what they're talking about, this flood stuff. He was talking about the trade war and, you know, all the stuff that's going on. He's saying, wake up, church. You know, maybe there is something going on because, yeah, we know things are going on right now. We know that the New World Order is in full swing and they want to totally implement the New World Order. I mean, not that they're already there. They already have been controlling everything behind the scene, but they're just waiting for something to happen so they can fully take over. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to go into outright war. Okay, if the United States keeps on pushing, okay, they will go into the Third World War, which was planned ahead. Okay, if you know anything about the Freemason guy Pike, yeah, they said it. He said it. He wrote it in his book, you know, that they are planning 3 world wars. We had 2 world wars so far. And in order to totally take over as the New World Order, they obviously had planned a 3rd World War. And then after the 3rd World War, they think humankind is ready for this New World Order, for somebody to take over and bring them peace. Because people are not ready yet right now, okay? They're not ready to make peace. They're just still on a teenage level or something, I guess. Everybody out there is on a teenage level. So anyways, I just wanted to make a little video about this because this is the second time somebody was posting on this Facebook page that I'm on and just brings the stuff up, okay? Of course, I don't know what these people, believe about. I think he's also talking about worst natural disaster in U.S. history. Okay, so he's talking about a natural disaster also, which is pretty likely. I'm not saying that disasters cannot happen, but when we go on into major disasters, what are we talking about? We're talking about the wrath of God happening, which I believe is going to happen pretty fast. Okay, we are really going towards the wrath of God fast, very fast. And if that's what they're talking about here, all you have to do is go to Revelation, and it tells you exactly what is going to happen. I'm talking about natural disasters, okay? Natural disasters like in form of something is happening to the sun, to the moon, stars are falling, islands and mountains are moving out of their place. All the islands and mountains are moving out of their place. That's catastrophic. Okay, some people say even pole shift. Yeah, something devastating is going to happen very soon. But make no mistake, I have done the study about that too. And again, I see the same problems with the tribulation, of course, and the wrath of God. People are confused about that. They're confused. They don't even know what tribulation is and what wrath is. Please state a question if you're confused. Don't say something babble, blah, 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 when you don't even know for sure, you have not done the study, about it. Or I guess they're just trying to confuse people. That is possible as well. But I'm going to come to an end. And I hope you continue to do your studies. Read things. Do some research about history. Because without having at least some knowledge of history, people are going to mislead you. People are going to mislead you, and you should keep your mouth shut and maybe ask questions. Actually, I shouldn't say keep your mouth shut, but ask questions. Don't make statements. Okay? Ask questions. So, anyways, let the Holy Spirit guide you. And this is all for today.